Sorry, guys. So, yeah, I'm back, and like I told you guys, I'm going to be joined by Samson Kasumba, and I'm just going to send him an invitation here. Let me see how to do it. Yeah, so I had started this broadcast and I ended it because my guests were not prepared. We're just testing technology. So, yes, this broadcast is basically about the media vis-a-vis political discontent. What precedent is Bobby Wine setting for the media fraternity? What is this hullabaloo about the boycott NBS helped to rig the election? This is what we're going to talk about. I've seen so many people asking so many questions. I've seen a lot of people like trying to attack individuals, reporters at NBS. I saw somebody yesterday telling them they're going to come after every journalist who associates with NBS television. And I'm wondering, how did we get to this? Why are we dividing our nation? So, I'm going to be joined by Samson Kasumba, who has been on the front line, fighting for the press, fighting for the media. And again, I'm going to put a disclaimer here. The views that I'm uttering out today are my views. They're not sponsored by NBS. I'm not fighting an institutional war of NBS. I am basically fighting for the media and calling out on some people who think they're going to be stepping on everybody, trampling on everyone's rights. And that's why I'm telling you, it's the media and the fury, the press freedom versus political discontent. Where should a politician stop and when can they cross the line? So 50 people are watching, and if you're watching me today, I want you to share this video so that our message as journalists reaches the person we're trying to reach. We have an option of choosing to call him and talk to him, but he chose to address us through Facebook and social media. So we are going to respond that way. Samson Kasumba, thank you very much for joining me. Samson Kasumba is a senior journalist, a senior news anchor at NBS Television who has been on the front line fighting for the press freedom, and so many people have misinterpreted his thoughts, his views, and they think he's trying to cover up something. Samson, good to have you on this broadcast, and soon we'll bring in the NUP MP, Matthias Impulgar, to weigh in on the issues at hand. Samson, say hello to the viewers watching today.
Of course, a very good evening to everybody watching and putting this together. I think it is important for us to have serious conversations about rights and serious conversation about what sort of society we want to be, or we are already. I think that we can't be one thing, but we can choose to be better. I think we can choose to improve. You raise a very important matter of how do we treat each other in cases where we disagree. I generally think that, or let me put it this way, I disagree with the concept of gayism. Gayism in the sense that we must all be the same.
Right.
The view that we must be ideological. There must be hetero thinking. We must be comfortable with the idea that we cannot all think the same way and understand the same way. I think the way we got here is by way of a very dangerous dichotomy, in the sense that in our nation there are two sides and there is nobody in between. And unfortunately, both sides have tried to pull the media to their side because they understand the weight of the media. So you will find that believes that because it is the government, the media must be on its side. And if the media is not on its side, then it is the enemy of the nation.
Samson, and there are two things.
Yes.
They have to.
Sorry?
Okay, go on.
So then they've invested so much in, to a certain extent, bullying and pulling the media to pull and push the government agenda. Sooner or later, the opposition learned the same tactic, unfortunately. And the opposition argues, or sections of it, that since they are the anointed saviors of the nation, everybody who hates what is going on must be part of the opposition. So if you are not part of the opposition and doing the bidding of the opposition, then you are the enemy of the nation.
Right.
So the government thinks the media is an enemy. The opposition also thinks the media is the enemy because they're not doing the bidding of the opposition. And the opposition sees its bidding as a struggle and nation salvation. Unfortunately, for my education and where I come from, and I have no apologies for what I'm going to say, I have never seen the difference between the opposition and government that they oppose. In my opinion, we don't need both. There are two sides of a 100 shilling coin in a country where we have a problem of 100 million shillings.
Right.
And I avoid being part of choosing sides of a coin of 100 when our problem is 1 million shillings. Even if I choose one side of the 100 shilling coin, the problem is not solved. So we must agree that it is okay for people not to be part of government and not to be part of the opposition. It is fine. There's no problem with it.
Right.
So what I can't understand is that both sides feel that we must be on one of the two sides. We are not.
Kasumba.
So the opposition says, let me finish by saying that the opposition says you must criticize government, then they cheer the media. When
Right.
you turn around and tell them this you are doing wrong, then there's something wrong with you. Now, and you must be lynched and killed. So I ask, if you are that intolerant before you even have state power, what will happen when you have the tools and means of violence available to the state? The question is rhetorical in nature.
You know, Samson, my thinking is, honestly, like, what precedent is Bobby Wine setting for the media? If every person comes out to disagree with any story published and they say boycott, do this, yada, 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 where is the media going to be? If Besigye he had a huge following in 2016. At some point, he protested the media, but he never called on his supporters to boycott the media. If Arias Lukwago was to do the same thing, if President Harry Museveni was to do the same thing, what is like left for the media to rely on? But anyway, let's go to the most contentious issue here. Samson Kasumba, at some point, you are the face of NBS. At some point, you were in the studio reporting this things that happen in the field during the election. We want to know, did NBS have a telecenter? Where did you get the results you are relaying on television? Were these accurate? I know, don't tell me like it's not yours to respond to because you have a public relations officer, but it's your face on these screenshots that are being shared, and I just want to know your opinion. What do you have to say about that, Samson?
Of course, you know that I'm an employee of an organization, and I'm certainly not its spokesperson. And I'll tell you that, Remy, whether you like it or not, you knew I was going to say that, and I will say it. However, in very broad terms, I'm going to answer that question, but I always like to refrain from individuals, and I like to put across the concepts. And I will say this. There's been quite a bunch of attack my way throughout the last 48 hours. If people rose up and said that whoever is attacking Kasumba must be lynched, it is incumbent on me to stand up and say, no, please do not attack anyone in my name. I do not subscribe to the view that people should be beaten and attacked. That's how I run my life. The moment I know that people have started to act in my name, there and then I must stand up and disassociate myself, one, from those people, and two, from the view that anyone could be attacked simply because they attacked me. I come from the place where I think it is okay for people to have the right to abuse me. It is okay, because that's what freedom of speech is. People should have the freedom to attack me, even when I disagree with being attacked. And I defend the freedom of speech, even when that freedom of speech is used to attack me. But I must stand up each time people attack others in my name. That is what ethics demands. Now, I'd like the viewers of this to understand that in an election, there's something called a declaration form. It begins at the polling station. So after polls close, and Bahati, you've reported polls, there is a form in which the results are signed.
Right.
Those results are taken from the polling station. Ideally, every candidate, and I would add, every serious candidate or candidate serious about winning an election must have an agent at every polling station across the country. Because that's how, A, you show you're serious, and B, that's how you stop yourself from being in a situation in which you don't know whether you won or not. So they are moved from the polling stations to villages to sub-counties, all the way to district tally centers, then the national tally centers. Now, candidates and media houses across the world, depending on their ability and financial muscle, to deploy at every polling station. You're talking about 35,000 reporters. Nobody has those, not even CNN. So the next level you can deploy is probably at the village or sub-county level. Those are still huge numbers of polling stations across the country. Or you go at the district tally center.
Right.
So as the results come from the individual polling station to the district tally centers, they are tallied. Now, what you want to do is to make sure that at that place, you have agents to get the official results as they come in from the Electoral Commission, and then feed those into your system to find out who exactly is leading. And then if you can, you call the election. Now, the beauty about all this is here, that as the process goes on at the district, for instance, as the results are being pushed out, there is a system in which if there are wrong results being put out by the commission, the individual agents of the candidates can there does not tally with the DRA forms we have. Then it is fixed there, then there's an agreement, then it continues. Now, a station that cannot have a right to DRA forms can only get DRA forms from either the agents or the Electoral Commission. Because in the absence of the agents, it's only the Electoral Commission that has DRA forms.
Right.
There's no one who can manufacture a DRA form. Now, the problem in Uganda, I see, and I will not fear saying this, is you have candidates at all levels, whether parliamentary or presidential, who do not have polling agents at every polling station, at every sub-county, and in some cases, at district level. So I'm at pains to ask how do they know they won or lost? They are going to have to depend on the Electoral Commission results, which we all depend on. So if you say that the results we have are wrong, then produce a DR form to show the basis on which you claim they are wrong. If you don't have DR forms, how do you know the results are wrong, is what I ask. This is pure, simple logic.
Samson, you made a very interesting point about NUP supporters coming out to say we're going to murder every journalist who associates with NBS. And you are saying no to that. I want to add my voice and say no to violence against journalists. I think NUP is fighting a wrong war. If they feel like really agitated and they're so unhappy, they should go for the person who claimed to have rigged, in quotes, the votes. So fighting NBS and threatening every journalist is absolutely not right. No journalist deserves to die in line of duty. And two, journalism is a public good. My demand is simple. Let Bobby Wine come out and condemn the hate being spread by his supporters. He is on social media, and I'm very sure he's reading this and enjoying the clatter. And I'm telling people, let's stand up to bullying. Let's stand up to intimidation. So if Bobby Wine is really enjoying this and he's not coming out to say, guys, let's stop this, let's stop threatening people, how does this burn NUP? When I say NUP supporters are really ruthless and can do anything, and Bobby Wine himself knows people are angry. Everyone is agitated. So I have given Bobby Wine credit where it's due. When he fought for the age limit, for the removal of the age limit from the Constitution, I gave him credit for that. When I remember a story that I did in Boston, in Massachusetts, when Frank Musisi, a major in the United States, was condemning the police brutality. I came out and I reported that, and I saw him sharing it and giving me all the praise. And when I'm calling him out to say no to what his supporters are saying, everybody is branding us like we're trying to keep a dictator in quotes. So I feel like...
Can I say something, Remy, here?
Yeah, you should, please.
First and foremost, until I see an official letter from NUP, I don't like us to take the view that these are NUP people. I think that, for me, one is NUP, and it's not NUP until I've proven that, for instance, they have a party card and they're members of NUP. I'd like to say that these are excited, ideologically bankrupt, and wrong-minded Ugandans who are pretending to be sympathizers of NUP. And in my opinion, many of them may not even have voted at all, because most of them, in some ways or the other, even live outside. Don't have an NUP card and you didn't even vote. You are not NUP, as far as I'm concerned, until you bring proof you are. But what NUP hasn't done and should do is what I'm doing here, is disassociate itself from people perpetuating hate speech. Because you see, this is the problem that's going to happen here. If a journalist, God forbid, is killed, God forbid, if a journalist is killed,
yeah,
what will the principal of NUP say?
of course.
When those who killed the journalist say they killed the journalist in defense of NUP, what will the principal say? You see, if we had a hashtag end police brutality, this is brutality itself against journalism.
And that's why
we must find a way of disagreeing without going for people's lives. Because, I mean, what's the difference between these people and state agents that have killed innocent Ugandans simply because they disagree? If you disagree with NBS, take them to court. Why do you kill people? That's mob justice. I think that if you support NUP, you should understand the danger of NUP, of associating NUP with mob justice and killing innocent lives. So you are becoming a court. You are you are prosecuting the journalist, trying the journalist to death. I mean, is that how NUP or those who claim to be NUP want Uganda to be?
Samson, and I've been telling people, this is a very finicky conversation to have, but Bobby Wine is responsible for the actions of his supporters. And that's why I'm calling him out to come out and say no to the hate being spread. I'm going to give you an example. In the United States in America, where I am today, Donald Trump went on social media and he made a tweet about Congress when they were actually trying to confirm Joe Biden as the president-elect. He made a tweet, and you know what happened? His supporters stormed Capitol Hill and attacked Capitol Hill and every Congress people who were there. Today, FBI is coming after one by one individually, and Donald Trump is being tried for that in Congress. He has been impeached twice. So if Bobby Wine doesn't come out and say, hey, stop threatening journalists, honestly, that's not going to be appropriate for him to do. And if you're watching...
I think we should do that.
Say what?
I agree. Remy Bahati, I agree with you. He should come out and say that I don't believe in attacking journalists. Journalists have covered us. They've stood by us. I think that for all the coverage, you see, Remy, you know that we have had journalists who have been attacked 3 times covering Bobby Wine. Are we that bad? In Lira, we were attacked. Property of our colleagues was lost. Our vehicle was damaged. There were heavy repairs involved, and we still went back on the trail. In fact, after the Lira attack, when we recalled the team to come back to deal with treatment of persons and repairing of car damage and all, we were called cowards, and people said we had left the campaign trail because we feared the state. Imagine after we had losses, we left to come back and repair and go back. We were still attacked for leaving the trail. And then we suffered again. We suffered again losses in covering. I think it must have been this place where Bobby Wine's car was shot in Busoga. Our lead cameraman on the team suffered serious bruises on his face as he covered that blast. We all know that he is the one guy that had that shot that actually showed that the explosive did not come from Bobby Wine's team. It came from the other way around. We did that too. Daniel Taya was beaten and he was hospitalized for a few days. Now, and people still say we are bad. But you see, we are bad. We are here to do a decent job. For me, and I'm not asking too much, whether Mr. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Honorable chooses to say this or not is upon him. But history is being written. Should anything happen to a journalist, the public will determine how they interpret it. You see, as you rightly mentioned, even President Donald Trump tried to distance himself from the events at Capitol Hill. But everybody said that he was responsible because A, when they started unfolding, he did come out to strongly condemn them and ask the people to go home. Silence can be a statement. The silence of the principle of NUP will certainly be interpreted. More so if somebody is attacked and unfortunately killed. There will be people who will be asking why he was quiet. And we're talking about somebody who is always quick to go to social media and speak about what's going on in the country. This silence is pregnant with meaning. It is not silent. It is communicating. And I am suggesting that some people are reading into this silence and they know what it means. And I'm sure, I'm old enough to know and I've been taught in school to know that silence speaks. You see, I studied theology, and in one of my classes of hermeneutics, which is the science of interpretation, I was taught how to read silence. Many times when Jesus was asked things, the best way he communicated was keeping quiet, because he knew by keeping quiet, he was sending a message. Mr. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, Honorable, by being silent here, he is saying a lot, and the only way he can avoid that and being read in ways he doesn't want to be is where he stands.
Thank you so much, Samson. I can see a lot of people are watching. Keep sharing. I see you showing us the love and support. Keep sharing. We appreciate this. And we are not going to sit back and clap for Bobby Wine because he said he's protesting the media and his supporters are saying we're going to lynch the reporters. We're going to murder the reporters. That is unacceptable. We must stand up to bullying, to intimidation. Not everybody who disagrees with NUP is going to be branded as NRM, is going to be branded as a journalist who doesn't know what to do. This is our profession, and it's under attack. Like Samson Kasumba said, there is no difference between the police goons who clobber journalists when they're doing their jobs and what is happening today. Both should be condemned. Both should be stopped. They are all wrongs. And we're coming out to say no to police freedom. We are not fighting an institutional war. We are basically fighting for the rights and freedoms of the media. Samson Kasumba, before I let you go, did you have anything more to add on? Well, there are so many fans of yours and critiques. You respond to that.
Yeah, I'm going to respond to this. I also want to say that I speak my mind. I am not under any obligation to allow anybody to understand for me. And I think I have the freedom to say what I want to say. Do not be under the opinion that I must agree with you. I am not supposed to. People who know me know that I'm very stubborn and I air my views. I speak what I want to say. And whether it is after I was arrested or over anything, I speak my mind, especially when I can. Working in Uganda has taught me that, yes, we are not the freest out there in the media, fact. But I've also gone to report in countries where you cannot say as much as I say in Uganda, and interacted with journalists who feel we have a little bit of room to say things that they couldn't say where they are. So I also appreciate that. This whole idea that, and you see, every time I've come out to say something nice about Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the other side has attacked me. And you probably know too well how often during this campaign, Remy, you know probably too well how during this campaign, my own words crediting the story of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu have been quoted by NUP people. Things I said on Media Roundtable, for which they said that it was the reason I was arrested. NUP social media team has been using my very own statements after clipping off part of it. And I didn't take offense for that. Now, the moment I start saying things they don't want to hear because they think I am their like, then I should die. I don't think that way. I just don't. And I think it is ridiculous to go that direction.
There is so, this by the opposition that...
Sorry?
Go on.
So I think that we must accept that Uganda is a free space where we must allow those who disagree with us to disagree with us. I think, and I'll say this without fear of favor, that I think that one of the most incredible stories of our nation and our generation is the story of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, a man who started from nowhere, and he is now a presidential candidate who has garnered 35% of the vote, at least from what we have. and I don't have proof that he has more. If I had it and I get it, I'll come back and tell you here that he got more. I speak with fact. I can say it here again. If I get evidence that Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu got more than 35%, I, Samson Kasumba, will be the first to say as much, if you can avail me proof. The documents I have suggest that much. But we should not take away anything from a man who was just a musician almost 3.5 years ago that he has done that. Incredible story. Although I have my own reservation. Incredible story. Although personally, and I am very honest, I have my reservations about whether he can lead a country like Uganda or not. But he should have a shot at trying. Can he lead it or not? I don't think so. But should he try to? Let him have a chance. I think that the population of our nation has a right to gamble with whoever they want. Then they will find out that he couldn't. I think that we can get better persons to lead the country than Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, good as he is, incredible story as he may have. I also think that we can find better to lead our country than President Yoweri Museveni. That's certainly possible.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, those two are not the best we can have now. We can get better. But if the nation has decided that one of those two is the best, then so be it. Part of the reason I don't vote, I last voted in 1996 and I'm not going to vote again because I think that there are better ways to run my life than go to a ballot where I'm not convinced that by the end of the process, what we all did will eventually count. I have never believed, honestly speaking, that in Uganda we can have a free and fair election. It doesn't happen. And I would also like to add that for as long as President Yoweri Museveni is still a candidate, the idea that you can come, campaign, and overwhelm the state to win an election is a Herculean task. I don't think those who have tried it even know the size of what they are up against. Remy, let me tell you this. Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, when he told Ugandans that he is going to win this election, he promised them something, in my opinion, that was unachievable. And now we are finding out, or he too has found out, that what he promised and what could be achieved are not one and the same thing. I am happy to be killed for saying so.
Samson, do you think today NBS journalists can go to Chiseka Market with the branded microphones and jackets and report freely? Or do you think until Bobby Wine comes out to condemn the hate spread by his supporters, something that will mean something to the press freedom, right?
To be honest with you, I don't think you can go with the NBS press jackets to Chiseka Market. In my heart of hearts is something I feel I want to try so that we actually show
That's brave.
Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi that what we're actually talking about does exist.
Definitely.
I'm happy to pick a press jacket and go to Chiseka Market live so that these people understand that these things have serious consequences. They do.
Like
we are not talking about a hypothesis. Oh no, I'm telling you, I'm happy to pick that press jacket and go to Chiseka Market so that these people understand that there's a fury out there that has been created by a letter. There is. We're not talking about something that doesn't exist. If Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and NUP people want us to do that, I am happy to wear that press jacket and go live so that they understand. It's not hogwash. There's anger out there.
A lot of it. I see it even from the comments. People that are.
I mean, there's anger here. There's anger here. There's anger here on Facebook.
And what's really like so saddening? Like,
I see a flashback. I see somebody called Ashba Kato saying I'm spreading hate. What do they mean by hate on that I'm spreading hate?
Absolutely.
If I disagree with somebody, I'm spreading
press freedom. I don't agree with Ashbag. I know you're defending the press, and we don't hate Bobby Wine. We hold no personal vendetta against him. We are just trying to stand up to him and say he needs to come out and condemn his supporters. When people make tweets, they post stuff and be like, we're coming after you wherever you are. That is dividing the country. And if he really is a good leader, like he says, he should come out and say no to hate speech, no to violence against journalists. And that is what we all want. We need to see a unified nation, not a nation where supporters are going to take everything up into their arms and come up with decisions and do whatever they want to do. His words mean a lot, and his words will change a lot. So if he enjoys everything, the hype, the whatever they're giving him, and he stays in his house and doesn't see that he's endangering lives of so many young journalists, it's absolutely not right, and we should put a stop to that. Samson, is there something else you wanted to add? It seems like I have said.
Yeah, I just want to add that. Yeah, I just want to add that that I said this early, Remy, that the concept of gayism for me never cuts it. Gayism in the sense that we must be same-sex, we must all think the same. Because President Yoweri Museveni has been in Uganda for 35 years, we must all support everybody that opposes him. I may oppose President Yoweri Museveni, but before I support anybody, I must believe that they are better than President Yoweri Museveni. At least they must convince me so. If they don't convince me, they don't convince me. If somebody convinces you that they are better than President Yoweri Museveni, that does not mean they convinced me. This thing of being convinced is very individual, it's not corporate. And there's nothing wrong with that. If Bobby Wine has convinced you that he can run Uganda and he hasn't convinced me, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I've been telling the people in the NRM that if you think President Yoweri Museveni is the best thing that has happened to Uganda, and I don't think that, it's okay. I've been married for 18 years. We don't agree on everything with my wife, but we've never beaten up each other. We agree to disagree. It is okay. So I don't see where the fuss is here. But anyways, we have a nation in which people have grown up on tear gas and police brutality, and we now think that violence is the best means of doing anything. I have worked in Chukuwa and I've seen that when people disagree on anything, the next thing one is on the floor and the other's screaming, whether car washing days or anything. You see how many fights there because we believe in beating up each other. That's the society we've become. If it is not physical, then it's on social media. But we will deal with it. There will be such a time when we know it's okay to disagree. I miss being in England, because in England, when you disagree with people, you write papers. This one writes, the others answers. I think, Remy, you and I are part of the academic environment where professors debate on for years, in many cases for centuries, over unresolved matters. In my case, over theology, in yours, over journalism. We study disagreements that have gone on for centuries, and we continue to be part of those disagreements, but they are very civil. I think that that's where we should go. If you disagree with Kasumba or NBS, let's not threaten each other. I don't think anybody has heard me threatening. And I'm going to be back on Twitter, again, disagreeing. Prepare for it. And I'd like to assure you that I am not one to be threatened. 1, 2, you can insult me for as long as you want. I don't get off Twitter. And it never gets under my skin. I have studied psychology, I've studied philosophy and theology. I exactly know. You see, Remy, one of the most interesting things is, before I start a Twitter storm, I pull out my books of psychology, logic, and philosophy. As I tweet, I am checking in my notes and enjoying it because I know exactly what I'm doing. One of the things that amuses me is people do not know that I do this deliberately and I know exactly what I'm doing.
All right.
So I look at people getting very emotional as I'm going over my notes and I'm thinking, what are these up to and why are they being winded up or wound up? Why are they falling for it? Then I wind them up some more. Then I enjoy it some more.
The only thing that really makes me happy about social media is that I see so many angry people. You guys forget that at the end of the people you're fighting for pick up phone calls and call us to talk about whatever you guys have been.
You're gonna die.
Why are you killing each other and roasting each other on social media? Anyway, let me just
the people. Let me go. I'm gonna anchor bulletin, baby. Bye-bye.
And they will engage us. Before you go, Samson, I just wanted to put this into the void. This is our profession. These are our careers. And we're not going to clap for somebody who doesn't want to condemn when his supporters are saying, we're going to kill you, we're going to end your life, we're going to end your career. Absolutely not. We have to come out and defend our profession. I've been practicing journalism for 10 years. I'm enrolled in one of the most prestigious journalism schools in the world who have trained top journalists. And I know what it means to be impartial, to be objective, and to report facts. I don't know whether NBS reported facts. I'll leave that part for the public relations officer. But I know I don't support President Museveni, like you say. I don't support Bobby Wine. I don't support Besigye. I represent the voices of the people. I speak, and those are the stories. So somebody come out and say, because you have disagreed with Chagulanyi, excuse you. I am not here to support Chagulanyi. I've given him credit and it's on record when he has done something right. I've given him credit when he does something right. I told him on several occasions. So, we know none of you guys going to go to any journalism class to study journalism is going to come and preach to me what it means to be objective. I'm going to give you an example of Fox and CNN. You saw what happened during the 2016 Hillary Clinton and Trump's presidency when they're campaigning. They decided to do whatever they did, and we saw the consequences. When Trump came out to do bad things, banning immigrants, the media stood up for him. We are not going to charge Bobby Wine because he's a follower. We're going to call him on when he does something wrong. When he comes to government and when he becomes president and he has control of all resources of our nation, are we going to massage him because he's Bobby Wine? There is a big corruption scandal, for example, in his administration. Are we not going to report about it because we're scared he's going to come out and shut down media house? We are saying no, we're not going to massage another Trump. When he's wrong, when he's right, we are going to it is right. Let me have your closing remarks before, because I know you have news, so I don't have your time.
I'd like to say, Remy, that the job of commander-in-chief and president of any republic, especially when you're 37, is a huge, huge job. In my opinion, it's a little too early, but that's just my opinion. It's a little too early to run Uganda at the age of 37, and I have my reasons, and I can be killed for them. It's okay, it's okay. But you see, before you even become president, you have to be presidential. You see, when we have a nation in which the state has killed close to 154 people, and the head of state went on to brag about it, you want to see people who want that job act fast and swift when there are threats, death threats.
Right.
It's a little unfortunate that somebody wants to be president of a nation in which people are killed and the president and Fountain Ovona brags about it, is silent when death threats are flying around. I find that questionable. And I'm here asking, if he was president and his army or police killed somebody who doesn't support him, would he come out and condemn it? I'm not so sure, going by what we're seeing. Will he come out and condemn if the police raided the television station that doesn't support his presidency? If he's president, would he condemn it? Or would he go and say, or his supporters say, I'd like to see a president that is swift and sharp when things come out that are unethical, because what is happening is unethical. And I insist, of course, he is a candidate, I'm not. He's a politician, I'm not. Maybe there's political gain in this. I think he's just started to become like them all, politicians. When it benefits them, they keep quiet. When it doesn't, they speak. He's playing politics, and it's very good politics, I can tell you here. Because if he condemns, then he loses his online magie, as they call them. But this is politics, and it's why I hate it, because politicians do what is convenient for them. So I can tell you, Remy, it's very good politics here being played.
Right.
But I had hoped that when death threats are flying around, that we wouldn't play politics. But again, what do I know about being a candidate? That's what they tell you. Kasumba, you've never run even for a village. What do you know? And that's true. I've never ran, and I don't want to run. And the reason is because this is what politics does to you. Politics forces you in a situation where you can't do what you want to do. Maybe Honorable Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu would like to come out and condemn these things, but he is in a political position where to do so is politically inconvenient. And he's arrested by his political position. Maybe that could be true. But I can tell you, if the politics doesn't allow him to say what he wanted to say now, when he enters State House, he will find out what they all find out when they get there. That's not easy. You want to raise the economy or feed the poor, but politics stops you from doing so. And that makes me say here and now that when he gets into State House, he may not be better, because politics may not allow him to do what he wants to do, like it has stopped him saying what he wants to say now, because that is politics. And I'm glad I'm not a politician. It is sad that he became a politician and he's suffering the consequences of politics. I miss the musician.
Oh, I miss Bobby Wine too, the musician. But it's all good. We're here now, and we have to be real with each other. Okay, guys, you can feel free to go, Samson, if you want to go. I know you have so much to do in the newsroom. And see you later on air. Are you going to be on air tonight?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm on air tonight. Yes.
All right. We'll see you then. All right, Samson.
Cheers.
Feel free to go. So, guys, you've had it all. We've said it. Bobby Wine should not be in his house, enjoy people being threatened to be killed, and don't say anything about that. His supporters are angry lions on social media. They want to just like grab everybody and chew them, whoever disagrees with him. That's not how you should identify yourself or come out to society as NUP. I'd never covered the elections. I am not speaking for NBS television. I am not fighting an institutional war. I am just talking about the press freedom. We love Bobby Wine, and he knows it. We love every good thing that he has done, and we've talked about it in the media. We don't hate him like so many people say. But are we going to just watch him when he does something wrong? We need to tell him, because we are the press. Anyway, let me not go into much details. I'm just gonna say thank you so much for watching, for sharing, for showing us so much love. I see the comments, many are agitated and others are happy. I see some are threatening me. That's okay. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? And I'm not going to, because I'm a journalist and because there is this wind of change blowing across the country, we all want to be better. We all want to be in a nation. Gaza. So if everyone is going to bring the fundamental change, or is Museveni going to bring it on, or is Dr. Besigye going to bring it on, or Mama Mbabazi, we're happy to have them all put whatever they have on the table. So anyway, and I'm going to set boundaries, guys. I know I have so many followers, but we need to have a conversation about people messaging me, people coming to my inbox. We need to have this conversation. I don't know whether I should have it now, but I will throw it into the void for you guys to know. We need to set boundaries. When you come to my inbox and you are asking me about something or inquiring about something, you need to be polite. And that will be a conversation for next time. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I love you right back. I see you. I see your comments. But I love you. And have a good day.